Halloween Ends, the scariest movie of the summer. Halloween Ends, the scariest movie of the fall, but not for the reasons you think. The scariest movie for a certain subsection of Halloween fans.
Yeah, of Michael Myers fans.
God, oh my Jesus in heaven. This is a funny movie, right? This is a comedy, because that's what I watched. Genuinely, I think I posted on Facebook, genuinely one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. It feels like a high quality troll job. Does it not? Does it not feel like they are intentionally trolling hardcore man baby fans of Halloween?
Oh, I guess. I didn't think of it that way. I just know that I was enjoying the opening scene and going, okay, I think we're doing something different here. And I was just playing with ideas in my head and thinking this Corey kid is either going to be a victim, which I thought was interesting because he's a man or male. And I thought, oh, okay, new twist. Then I thought, oh no, nothing's going to happen here at all. It's just a subvert your expectations type of thing. And then when the thing happened that does happen,
why not both?
Yeah,
why not both things?
Oh, he's going to become the new Michael Myers. And which is sort of what ends up happening in the film.
Spoilers, Mark Begley. We haven't even introduced the episode yet.
Well,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. If you're listening to the episode of this show on Halloween Ends, I would assume you've watched the movie, because at this point, people have pretty strong opinions about it. And on this episode of the Kulturecast, much to the chagrin of many, I am still your host, Chris Stachiw, and I am joined, as always, by my good friend. He's all the way from the Wake Up Heavy podcast, Recollections of Horror. I like the title. I like how long it is. I think it's cool. Your friend and
Spreaker doesn't.
Unlike Marge Simpson.
Nobody does.
I just think it's neat.
Yeah.
Your friend and mine, Mark Begley.
I have thought about dropping that, but I'm reluctant to.
We call you MBJ, Mark Begley Jr.
Spoilers. And much to the chagrin, yes, I'm back again. I'm sure these are your least listened to episodes.
That's not true.
Fucking care.
That's not fucking true at all. The movie, I know I hate to tell you this, but the reason nobody listens to our show as much as they do is because we don't talk about movies like this all the time. This being a brand spanking new, fresh out of the womb movie, which we normally aren't talking about. Recollections of Horror would seem to mean not movies that are new.
Yeah, that is typically what it means. Yes.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily always talk about new movies on my show because I don't necessarily go see new movies all the time. And frankly, there's a good reason for that, because most things you don't even have to go to the theaters to watch anymore. I'm not a shut-in. I just choose not to blow $45 to go to the movies. Fuck me, I guess.
Didn't have to go to the theater to see this. I was actually surprised. I thought, well, we're further along in this, whatever. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, we're still in the pandemic. But, last year's they released on Peacock the same day as theaters. And I thought, oh, well, they won't do that for the next one because they're going to want to make more money.
Right.
And so I was surprised.
Much to the chagrin of the people who made the movie, they released it on Peacock the same day it came out.
Yeah, I was legitimately surprised that was part of the release strategy this time, but happy that I could see it same day as most other people and not have to go. I haven't been to the theater since February 2020. So
I went and saw Doctor Strange in April for Mother's Day. I paid for me and my mom and dad to go. I haven't been since. And you know what? Shockingly, went to the movie theater around the same time I flew on an airplane for the first time since COVID. Both experiences still suck and nothing has changed. So so it doesn't feel like I missed out on anything. It doesn't feel like the world caught up to things like that. So yeah. We're going to be talking about 2022's widely reviled. I don't know if it's reviled, but by a subsection of people, Halloween Ends is a movie that is going to spark a lot of, maybe not spark joy in people, but it's going to spark an interesting conversation. So yeah, on this episode, we're going to be talking about David Gordon Green's finale to his Halloween trilogy. Halloween Ends.
It's been 4 years since Michael Myers vanished without a trace.
Hello.
certain that I saw him watching me.
You pretend like you moved on, but you're actually just obsessed with death.
What are you gonna do when Michael comes back for you? Because he is coming.
But this time, something feels different. He's more dangerous. He killed my daughter. But tonight, I will kill him. Come and get me.
Laurie!
Maybe the only way he can die is if I die too. It all ends now. You came here to kill me, so do it.
So the film is directed by David Gordon Green. It's written by 4 people: Paul Brad Logan, Chris Bernier, Danny McBride, and David Gordon Green. It stars, wouldn't you know it, Jamie Lee Curtis and Jamie Lee Curtis and Andy Machiak and Rowan Campbell and Will Patton. But you're here for one thing, or you think you're here for one thing, which is actually just the last 10 minutes of the movie.
Some people are here for one thing.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I'm not one of those people. I'm going to say that straight out the bag. That's
Same.
why I liked this one.
Right. And so we'll get to that here in a second. But the movie is ostensibly about again, as advertised, the way the movie was advertised, I think is an important way of putting this, because that's an important distinction, I think. The movie as advertised is about the final fight between Laurie Strode, one of the OG, if not the most famous final girl in horror cinema, and Michael Myers, aka The Shape, one of the best known slasher icons in the horror genre. And it's ostensibly about their final clash. However, within the first 5 minutes of this movie, it is made abundantly clear that this is not going to be the Halloween movie that you were expecting, that I was expecting, or that the fans were expecting, but a lot of people on the subreddit knew because of the leak. The leaks had this movie pinned to the wall from like 6 months ago, but the fans were trying to find any way to convince themselves that this movie wasn't going to happen the way that it did. So all that out of the way, we are going to be talking spoilers from here on out. Mr. Begley, give me your intro for Halloween Ends. Tell me all about it.
Well, it's a remake of Christine.
It's got some It in there too.
And It, yeah.
It is It. For once, I can say with absolute certainty that this movie is closer to It than I ever thought it would be.
Yeah, there's a lot of pulling from different sources, which I don't necessarily mind. That was what was keeping me interested while I was watching this the first time. I was like, oh, there were a lot of things that I certainly wasn't expecting after 2018 and Halloween Kills.
Right. Almost feel like we have to say after Halloween Kills is almost the reason this movie feels so weird, is because of what that movie is versus what this movie is.
Yes.
This feels like the Halloween trilogy feels very much like Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and then we never saw what that third Ridley Scott movie is, but I don't think it would be like this movie. But I say that only in regards to the response of the filmmakers, in regards to the response to the audience feels very, they feel like they're listening, but they're also ignoring intentionally.
Yeah, I just read today actually that David Gordon Green said they had no plan on making this the final showdown, the Michael versus Laurie final showdown. That was never the intention for the third film. Yeah. So I mean, try
telling anybody else who advertised this movie that, though.
Right. No, and I understand that, and I'm sure that ending, the last 15 minutes or so, is sort of a concession maybe to the producers or to the fans or to whoever.
Malika Khan is like, we need to see Michael. fight in the last 15 minutes. And it's like, why, dude? Like, why?
Yeah, the first thing was the font choice. And I'm like, oh, fuck, that's Halloween 3's font, which as a major, and I'm going to be that dude that's going to say, I liked Halloween 3 back in 1984 when I first saw it on video. I was not beholden to Michael Myers. I probably saw 1, 2, and 3 very close together because 1 and 2 would have been played on TV and 3 would have just come out on video in like 83, 84. That was 82, I think. Yeah. So, and that's what I was watching. And I rented, and I've got a whole episode about that movie. One of the earliest episodes of Wake Up Heavy. This was the one, Halloween 3 was the one that I rented because it was so fucking weird. And since I wasn't like maybe older and had seen Halloween in the theater or Halloween 2, blah, blah, blah. They all came as a package. So it was like, okay, that's fine. I mean, I don't need Michael Myers in this. We've got robots. We've got titties. We've got Tom Atkins. We've got cool looking masks.
The actor who plays the lead villain.
Connell Cochran. Oh, shit.
Something O'Hurley, right?
Yeah. I just watched the guy the other day.
He's Whatchamajiggy's dad because he was in a really good episode of Tales from the Crypt. I mean, Gavin O'Hurley, is that one of their names? Is that right? Yeah, sounds right.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, it's just a fantastic movie. So that was the first thing struck me. Oh, Halloween 3 font. I mean, it makes sense. This is the third movie, but I think that indicates we're going for something different here because Halloween 3 was most definitely something different from the first two.
Do Halloween fans do fans of Michael Myers begrudgingly like Halloween 3, or do they hate Halloween 3 because it's not a Michael Myers movie? Because it's not a bad movie. I watched it last week for like the umpteenth time. I, like yourself, love it. It's a great film. But I've always wondered, like, people who are dyed-in-the-wool Michael Myers fans, how do they feel about Halloween 3? And if they don't like it, is it because Michael Myers isn't in it?
Yeah. I mean, that's been the history. That was
banal.
Definitely...
That's banal to me. Like, get out of here. Who cares?
That's what the problem was when it was released. There's no Michael Myers. And then they course corrected, however many years later, 12 years later or something. When the fuck did Halloween 4 come out?
It was like, I mean, enough time afterwards where, I mean, nobody was thinking about Halloween at that point.
Anyway, so that was my first indication. We're doing something different. And then that opening felt familiar, but different. I mean, they're watching The Thing and they watched The Thing from Another World in the original Halloween. So we've got that. Yet then that makes me go, how are they watching a John Carpenter movie? And if they look on IMDb right now, is Halloween going to be under John Carpenter?
Is Halloween Ends going to be on there? Because he's also producer on this movie.
Yeah, it's like, what the fuck? Whatever.
They look at their hands. Are we based on characters by John Carpenter? Well, it's like in Halloween 3, they're watching Halloween, but in that movie, it makes sense because there's none of the characters. So you can just watch it now. In Hocus Pocus 2, they're watching Hocus Pocus, which makes no fucking sense.
Right. I heard about that. Yeah. No, in Halloween 3, it absolutely makes sense because they're not in the same universe.
Can we just posit that everything that we've seen from Halloween through all the other Halloween movies are just on a TV somewhere in a Silver Shamrock like room, just on a TV. And that's all these are, just entertainment for someone who's being tied up at Silver Shamrock.
Yeah. With a mask on, waiting for the commercial.
Just 5 minutes. That shit's annoying in that movie, but it also cracks me up because if you've never seen it and you're watching it with someone who's never seen it, it'll drive them nuts the first time they watch it. That Silver Shamrock jingle.
I love it though.
I do too, but it's from years of watching the movie and enjoying it.
Yeah, but that opening sequence was paced really well. It was surprising.
You think?
You didn't know which way it was going to turn, and then it got kind of nasty. I mean, that's pretty brutal. I just like the simple thing. Like Corey, who's basically our protagonist in this film, goes into the kitchen. He gets cock blocked with his chocolate milk like throughout the film. I'm not sure what that's all about, but brother never gets a chance to finish his chocolate milk. Goes and grabs a huge bottle of chocolate milk. He's going to have a piece of carrot cake or pumpkin cake or whatever, pumpkin bread, and leaves the knife there. And then as we come back through the kitchen, the knife is gone. I just like little touches like that. But he notices the knife is gone, not just us.
Right.
So we're learning things together. We're not ahead of him. And then the little turd that he's babysitting.
Emphasis on turd. Because this kid is not remotely likable. And it's painted very broadly as like a kid that if you were babysitting them, because I babysit kids when I was in high school, the kind of kid that would drive you up and down a fucking wall.
Yeah. I used to help my sister every once in a while with these two kids. And the boy was much like this. And it's like, what time are they getting home?
Yeah. You said 11 and it's 12:30 now.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
But so then, yes, I think once that happens, once the bad thing happens.
Can we talk about it, please? Because I laughed really hard. I'm sorry.
That impact was fucking brutal.
It's the best kill in all three of these movies. It's fucked up. But it's also really funny. Like I know that David Gordon Green did it intentionally. And I know that it's pitch black humor because, again, just the way that it's shot and just the way that those shots at the end where he's looking down and she's looking up, it's just so cornball. But at the same time, like it's awful, right? Like,
and his body flips back up, and I was like,
it's the flip. It's the flip that really does it.
Flip. It is. I was like, oh my God.
And it's the best kill.
Rough.
Michael Myers is not involved in the best kill in all three of these movies. And it's this, because it not only sets the movie's tone off in a very weird direction, almost from the jump, but again, like we kind of already hinted at, there's going to be a level of ambiguity with a lot of the things that happen in this movie and like intent behind things. And I think, it starts here with this scene. I don't think he intended to kill the kid, but like one less shithead kid in the world per the movie's logic, I guess. In this universe, they have no qualms with killing kids. We've already seen that in the first movie, where there's a little ballet kid, Michael Myers just breaks his fucking neck. Like that was more brutal than this, just because that was just like, okay, like fuck. And at this point, we should assume that kids can get killed because David Gordon Green's made it clear at this point.
It wasn't a surprise that the kid got killed. I mean, it was surprising how it happened, but it's not a surprise. Yes, in this universe, kids are in danger.
Yeah.
And so I had to remind myself, or I remembered yesterday when I rewatched it. Okay, this takes place in 2019. So that's the Halloween Kills time,
right.
Time. And I guess we advanced to now. They never really say,
or last year,
something like that.
Or this year, I don't know. Like there is a time jump after when it cuts to the part you want to see. when it cuts to the opening credits that I'm sure everybody fucking hated.
I assumed that even though this was an accident, I kind of assumed that he served some time, but I don't know. When I watched it yesterday, I'm like, oh, they never really say that. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's later. It feels like it's later, and he's, the town pariah now, or one of the town pariahs, I guess.
Yeah.
And so that was like, oh, okay. So he's going to be pushed over the edge. He's going to constantly be bullied and teased and nagged. So
reminded of what he did, or accused of what he did.
Right. He's going to become the next Michael Myers in this town. He's going to become the next killer. So I don't think should be a surprise to anyone. That's the setup.
Can I ask though, like realistically, would people think he did it? Because the kid didn't get stabbed to death. Like
right.
Like that's
he's yelling, "I'm going to kill you!"
Sure.
As the parents open the door and the body hits the fucking floor.
Sure, but again, I feel like this takes place in modern times. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
I get what the movie is saying, but I think what the movie is saying, I think, is a little or a lot kind of, because again, and I'm only saying this because this universe tries to be real and realistic within reason, outside of the ending of the last movie completely just losing its goddamn mind. So it's just, I don't know. Like, I guess I have a hard time believing that the people in the town would still be haranguing. I guess people in the town would be haranguing him. I'm sure.
Fuck. All you got to do is go on Twitter every day to see.
Sure.
People.
But we're talking about in person. You know what I mean? Like, people on Twitter in the fucking Twitter void are one thing, you know.
I mean, people are idiots. They're going to assume the worst of somebody generally. So that doesn't surprise me or bother me
But we haven't mentioned here, after the intro, we find out what the stakes are now in the story. Laurie's daughter died. She did get stabbed to death, so that was not a dream sequence, though I would contend, similarly to everything that happened in the last movie, I don't think that there was a point in killing her. They don't do anything with it in this movie. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, fine. You don't want to have Judy Greer in your movie. That's fine. But it's weird because she's kind of been on the journey with them the whole time. And then it feels like she's missing from this movie, like in a way that, not that I have any sort of attachment to that character, but that combination worked better. And looking at even at the beginning of this movie, it's the tone is very strange. It's like they had to kill Judy Greer's character so that they could justify making Jamie Lee Curtis into a softer version of Laurie from the gun-toting mama we saw from the last two movies, or the first movie, because the last movie was the easiest paycheck Jamie Lee Curtis has ever made. I guarantee you that. Fucking sitting in a bed all movie.
Yeah.
Evil dies tonight. That's like 30 lines in. Evil dies tonight. It's weird because, like, just from the jump, they make it clear that, like, the things that happened at the end of the last movie actually happened. It wasn't a dream sequence or anything. But then they don't do anything with it. And Judy Greer's presence is missed because she's a fantastic actress. Even in these movies, which I'm not a huge fan of, she's fantastic. And then the other thing is, Laurie Strode is like completely defanged as a character, which I'm okay with, but they only did it because they killed Judy Greer's character off. Like, that's why. Otherwise, I don't think she would be as defanged. And then I guess the other kind of set dressing piece of information that we get is Michael Myers has not been seen for 4 years now. 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, I get confused on the timeline because I guess the first two are actually still technically 2018.
Right, because the beginning of this movie takes place after everything has happened.
It's been a year. Okay, yeah, that's right.
It's been a year since they all got fucking destroyed by Michael Myers.
So maybe it isn't that much later on that he reappears. I don't know.
It's 3 years from the end of the last movie.
Okay.
So 4 years. It's been 4 years since they've seen Michael Myers, is essentially what they say. So, this movie's weird, man. Like, to give my initial thoughts, like, this movie is fucking odd for two reasons. It does a thing that I haven't seen a lot of movies do, but promotion kind of trailer houses. I have not seen a lot of trailer houses take the last 15 minutes of a movie and turn it into an entire trailer. I'm trying to think of another movie that came out recently that does the same thing, where it does not give away that the movie is something completely different until you actually sit down and watch the movie. But this movie, if you were to be watching this film based on the advertising alone, you would think that this movie is the last 15 minutes made, almost 2 hours. And I haven't seen that very often, but I have seen it. And like I said, I'm racking my brain to think about another movie because I know it came out like the last year or two where it's that same thing where it's like you were just advertising. Oh, you know what it was? Okay. So I do a podcast called the On Seagal Podcast about Seagal movies. And there was a Seagal movie called China Salesman. And it features Mike Tyson and Steven Seagal in a fight. They have a fight scene in a bar together. That is 5 minutes of a 2.5 hour movie. And that is 100% of the advertising for the film. And it feels very similar. It's disingenuous to the fans to advertise it that way. And I don't give a shit what they think after the movie comes out and they're able to see it, but to advertise your movie that way is setting up people to have the reaction that they had. That all aside, I'm at the point now where I'm sick and fucking tired of these old slasher characters. Like, they were from an era that they worked, and now I feel like there are more interesting stories to tell than having Freddy or Jason or somebody else run around the screen. And I think Halloween Ends is a good indicator of that, because this is the best Halloween movie since Halloween 3. It kind of is. And I don't feel bad for saying that. And I don't feel bad that a lot of the fans of Halloween are really angry, because Halloween movies are boring, guys. Like, Michael Myers just running around and killing people with zero purpose has been fun once, maybe twice if you like Halloween 2, the original one. But I'm sorry, I'm coming at this as I am a fan of horror. We have talked almost primarily about horror movies. Anytime you come on, I think you would vouch for me as a horror fan as I would vouch for you. Not that either one of us need to do any vouching, but as someone who loves horror movies, I don't give a shit about Michael Myers. And I don't know why anybody else at this point is like so just angry and mad and letting their brains be turned off and their emotions turned up about a character in a movie that you can still watch all the cool things that you think you love. Why do we need to keep trotting him out? And I think this movie makes kind of that point by the end of it. It's like, why? Why are we continuing to do this?
Yeah, no, I saw, and I don't necessarily agree with this take, but somebody said, if you don't like the new film, you're a Michael Myers fan, not a Halloween fan. And I get what they're getting at. And I agree. I don't think you can categorize people out. That's not the only reason people don't like this movie, because it's not because
I think it's a bad movie, though. I don't think it's a poorly made film.
Well, some people might not like it because there's not a lot of Michael Myers, or less Michael Myers than they wanted. There are other reasons not to like this film as well. That's fine. But yes, I do kind of agree that if that's the only reason you want to see Halloween movies, then yes, you're a Michael Myers fan. He's barely in the first film. He's barely in the second film, which, whatever timeline you want to use, he's really not in the movies that much, except for like Halloween Kills, where it's just nonstop. And that to me was so boring. I'm a fan of the first 3 films. So Halloween 78. I like Halloween 2 again because I saw these all around the same time.
It's pretty good, but in comparison, it makes some of these movies look like fucking Orson Welles directed them and it was written by Mankiewicz. You know what I mean? Like, Halloween 2 makes Halloween 6. You know what I mean? Like, Halloween 2 is an amazing film, and I've already talked about Halloween 3. No, there's, other than seeing him on the TV screen, you don't get Michael Myers. That's fine. I don't care. Never have cared. I never even saw 4, 5, and 6 until recently. I saw bits and pieces of them over the years. I went and saw H2O when it came out, just because, and didn't even realize that there was a sequel to that, which I have seen a couple times. That was Scream. Right. I mean,
well, yeah, that was, and it's weird. And I think that's the one
but it was also when the first return of Jamie Lee Curtis post Halloween 2.
Well, right? H2O, and then she briefly appears in Resurrection.
No, I know. And I know all about that.
That's the one that's universally hated. Is Resurrection is almost on everybody's bottom, list at the bottom, even behind like Rob Zombie's. And there are a lot of people that have those way up high. Hey, to each their own, but this was interesting to me because I didn't even know where Michael Myers was for the first half of the film. I didn't really care because I wanted to see where they were taking this. And like I said, I assumed that this kid obviously is being set up to be turned into a killer somehow. He's got a crappy home life. His mom is weird and clingy and gross and annoying. At one point after he meets Allison and she ropes him into going to that bar for the costume party, he takes off his sweater and his mask, and they make a point of showing it. And so I'm thinking, oh, everybody's seen him come in dressed like this.
Yeah.
Everybody has this idea in the town about this kid because he accidentally killed this little kid that he was babysitting. Somebody's going to take his sweater and his mask and they're going to kill somebody. And I started thinking, he's, instead of him actually being Michael Myers, he's going to get set up as a Michael Myers. And I thought that was an interesting take. So I was on board for that. And then I realized, oh no, well, he's left and he's got all his clothes, so that's not going to happen. And then that's sort of when we get to, shortly thereafter, we get, an it scene with the kids harassing him on the bridge and getting thrown over the bridge, getting pulled into the sewer, for Christ's sake. I mean, hello, Pennywise. Surprised there wasn't a little Pennywise etching somewhere on the walls.
I was waiting for the noise. Pennywise shows up.
Also, there's a big missing persons billboard over that bridge when they're antagonizing him. Yeah, so obviously we're getting into the whole dairy thing, the evil that's lived here forever, that's taken over the town.
They even make a point of saying that in the opening of the movie, which I found to be a little odd because it felt, again, we talked about, and a friend of the Kulturecast, Haunting Seasons, Josh Bragg, talked a little bit about what he wanted from this movie, which was an embracing of that supernatural, like Michael can transform into transform, but Michael Myers in this movie is essentially described as COVID, like a pandemic, like he can infect you, like the infection of Michael Myers, which again, like you've kind of already mentioned, I think is an interesting concept, but they kind of half-ass it. They limp dick it. They don't choose to do it the right way. They choose to do it this half-ass way where he actually is still in the movie, which I honest to God, and again, this is going to be the most hated episode of the show. The worst part about this movie is Michael Myers. This movie would be better if it wasn't a Halloween movie, because the involvement of Michael Myers, it gets in the way of the finale of the movie being actually good. I would contend the worst part of this movie is when, well, we'll get to the end, but the reason that I have a problem with this movie is the ending. That's almost it. But that's because of the involvement of Michael Myers, the guy that everybody wants in this movie, more of than we get.
I would hazard a guess, total conjecture, but I would think that at least one of the drafts of this script probably didn't have Michael Myers in it at all.
Right?
He stumbles, he gets thrown off that bridge, he stumbles into that pipe, maybe finds the mask, maybe finds the knife, and, he's already on that path of becoming a killer. Right. I mean, when he's thrown over the bridge, he kills that bum for no real reason. And so that is one of the things that I thought oh, well, maybe he's not even going to be in this. And it's just going to be the specter of Michael Myers, which again, I was totally on board with. That's why, I about halfway through this, I was messaging you, I think I like this one. And it's because it wasn't Michael Myers killing 50 firemen. It wasn't Michael Myers roaming through the town and killing every random person he runs into. That is uninteresting to me. Agreed. I don't care how inventive the kills are. Again, saw somebody tweet this out. If your appreciation of this movie boils down to it had fun kills, that's so surface level.
Well, that's not what you or what I want or what we're looking to receive from a movie like this is not that, which again, if that is what you are here for, great. And
there are some interesting kills in this one.
Yes.
Actually.
Yes. But at the same time,
and they don't involve Michael Myers.
It's also not going to satisfy that condition, which is it's not Michael Myers. It is, again, the question that I've always had here, and again, as someone whose favorite fictional monster is Freddy Krueger, he's kind of the odd one out because he talks. All these other ones, does it actually matter who the character is, or do you just want to see someone getting kills as Michael Myers? Are you invested?
They're Michael Myers fans,
right? Are you But here's the question: are you invested in that character, or are you just invested in the way the character kills people? You know what I mean? Because each character has a certain modus operandi. Jason is brutal, and towards the later movies, he becomes a little bit more tongue in cheek. Michael always has this kind of weird detached curiosity to his kills. And obviously Freddy is taunting you, but do they actually care about the character? Because Michael Myers is a character in these movies, and the person underneath the mask is being given a character. I would contend that all the people care about are just seeing somebody big, hulking, and brooding, killing people. It doesn't matter even who it is. And frankly, if, like you said, if that is what you're here for, you do get it in this movie, because there are some brutal kills in this movie and some good ones. That kill on the DJ is fucking gnarly.
Yeah.
Unrealistic in the most obvious way, but fun in a like over the top horror movie way.
Yeah, that was
That's not the way the human body works at all.
Teeth falling out, jaw hanging down, cuts off his tongue. The tongue gets hung up on the. Yeah, I mean that's okay. Ooh, this is where we're going.
It was more fun than watching him kill a bunch of firefighters.
Right.
That was like an embracement in my mind of what this can be. This genre. The genre for me of movies is subversive, and it is not like super tongue in cheek, but the filmmakers of these kinds of films know why you, the audience, are there as well in some capacity. You do want to see what they're going to do with the character, and like that scene, like there's a setup throughout the movie, and there's a payoff, and it's actually a pretty good payoff. And like that, I can't fault David Gordon Green anymore for being a bad horror director. I actually think he's a pretty good horror director. I think that this movie kind of cements that or catalyzes that in my mind. Because like you said, this is so unlike the last movie. Honestly, the last movie feels like it wasn't even directed by him because of how just outside of the scenes where Michael's killing people inside the houses, which feel very David Gordon Green, everything else in that movie feels very workmanlike. Unlike this movie, which is just, it feels like a lot of the other things that I've seen from him tonally.
Yeah. And again, going back to the Michael Myers thing, if you honestly sit and think about who that character is in the first film, which is what we're going back to with this trilogy, erasing everything else, erasing 2 through 6, erasing H2O in that timeline, erasing the Rob Zombie movies or whatever. He was a motiveless, I mean, again, we talked about this on the Halloween Kills. Wait, what, kills 3 people or 4?
Yeah.
I guess if you count the mechanic that he gets the coveralls from. And it raises that question of like that they raise in 2018. What's the big deal? There are, I mean, fucking school shooters take out more people than Michael Myers. You know, not to be tactless, but in this day and age, is that what he did in 1978? Would that really ripple all the way over 40 years to this, to where the town has now fallen apart? I mean, this is post, him coming back, but there were still ripples of it, at least in her life, up to that point where she's holed up and gun-toting mama, like you said. A lot of people were bothered by that switch too, which I didn't even think about. Like, oh, she spent 40 years holed up in this fortress when he was in prison. But now that he's out and no one knows where he is, you're going to live your life like free. That's like, well, yeah, because as she says in the narration, I wasn't going to let that evil, have a hold on me anymore. So I'm not going to live in fear. I'm fine with that explanation. That again, this is other than not Michael Myers not being in this. This is a thing that bothered people. There are a lot of things that bother people about the film, and that's totally understandable. I like that it went a different direction and that it's a little bit weird.
It's a lot of bit weird.
And that we're pulling from it. We're pulling from that idea of Derry. We're pulling from Christine like a lot. I mean, the fucking kid works in an auto wrecking yard.
Yeah, but there's only one reason for that. It's so that he could be wearing those coveralls and it makes sense.
Well, yeah.
Which I thought was fucking smart.
That's not the only reason, though.
It ends up not being the only reason, but it makes a lot of sense, and it's like an easy in. It's like it was such an organic in, and it felt so organic with the character too. Like
it works on multiple levels, which is nice. I mean, Arnie never doesn't wear mechanic overalls, but in Christine, he is. That's where he houses Christine. That's where he witnesses Christine fix herself. That's where he starts to turn evil. He is under the power of that car, just like in this. I mean, they have the same fucking last name. Just like in this, Corey Cunningham falls under the power of Michael Myers. Now, also, I think both of those kids had that in them. Their home lives and everything else, being bullied at school. It's very much taken from Christine, which I didn't quite get the first time I watched it, but once I realized, oh shit, his last name's Cunningham. It's like, well, duh, Harney Cunningham, Corey again. We've got to change it to Corey because we got to have a name like Michael Myers that's alliterative, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I like all that. I like connections to things outside of this universe because I'm a little tired of this universe, to be honest with you. So the changes were refreshing to me.
Honestly, I think the way the progression of the movies in my mind now should be one, whatever the hell Halloween from 2018 or whenever it was from, and then this movie, and just leave Kills out of it completely because nothing happens in Kills of substance. Like you cannot watch that movie and watch this movie, and they do a previously on Halloween at the beginning of this movie. Like you already mentioned, a hardcore narrative exposition dump done by Jamie Lee Curtis, where it's like, and this is what we've been up to in the last 4 years. Okay. Okay. And guess what? If you leave it that way, Michael Myers at the beginning of this movie is perfectly justifiably missing if you think about him just being at the bottom of that house at the end of the last movie. Oh, he's missing. Yeah. They didn't find his body after they went to the house. And the only thing that they kind of have to gloss over is that Judy Greer's been dead, but they only mention her at the beginning of the movie 1-2 times. And then I don't think Andy Machiak brings it up again. And I don't even think Corey Cunningham or Rowan Campbell brings it up at all. So you could, honestly, it kind of feels like it. And I know that there will be a fan edit of this movie. And honestly, if you look at this movie, that Halloween, and then this one, like, okay, like I would be okay with those three movies together because it does kind of tell a coherent story. And then it makes the parts with Michael at the end of this movie feel more impactful because if we hadn't seen him up until that point in this movie, since the original Halloween that Gordon Green made, that would be a hell of a moment for him to come back and, do what he does with it.
Yeah. Well, I think people have said, the same thing. Basically, you don't really need Halloween Kills, even so much as like you don't even need Halloween 2018. But obviously you do. But as far as the changes that they take from those two that they make, it's like, we're going to course correct again,
right?
And just have her be a grandma in a nice house and living a normal life, which to me is a little bit. Yes, obviously that was a traumatic event that she lived through, but I still think that the whole gun-toting mama from 2018 is a bit much.
It's too hard of a course correct.
It makes sense if you include Halloween 2, kind of, because he comes after her again. That would lead me to think more paranoia, like, no, he's actually after me.
Right.
Not this is random, which is what they try to go back to. This is random, or at least the audience. She thinks they set her up to think, again, which only makes sense if you have Halloween 2 in it, that he was specifically after her. No, bitch, you're just the one that walked up to his house.
Yeah. Bad luck. Sometimes you win the lottery in a positive way, and sometimes you win the lottery in a negative way. Like, it's not, winning or losing, but like you have a very low percentage chance of winning the lottery, but you have a very low percentage chance of getting eaten by a great white shark too. But if you do, in an alternate universe, you're winning the lottery. It's that kind of bad luck, and that's what she gets in the series. Is she, like you said, she walked up to the wrong door one time. Yeah. And then in the second, David Gordon Green, or the first David Gordon Green movie, and the second sequel to the original, or the first sequel to the original Halloween, that's all set into motion by that doctor.
Right.
And the podcasters by accident, essentially.
Yeah. But it's all set up.
It's all set up. Like Michael Myers doesn't escape of his own volition. He's being poked and prodded to do it.
And that would have made more sense if she wasn't Miss Paranoid. Locking herself up, then it would be impactful. Oh, fuck, he really is after me, not realizing that this doctor has made this happen.
Is it weird to make a sequel to a movie that erases sequels only to make sequels to your own movie that erase sequels that you've made? Because that's what it feels like. This movie feels like a soft reboot of the movies that we just saw.
Or to call back to the sequels that you're erasing.
Right.
I mean, there's tons of callbacks to Halloween 2 in Halloween Kills.
And Halloween 3.
The whole fucking her being in a fucking hospital the whole time is that plot.
Yep. Yeah.
But I mean, yes, there are going to be Easter eggs. They're going to show the masks from Halloween 3.
Always.
They're going to do this. They're going to do that.
We didn't hear the jingle, but we saw the masks. I think we see the masks all the time now because they're now iconic of their own right.
I happened to watch. I went back after watching this and went and watched. It inspired me to watch Halloween the original. And since I like it, I watched Halloween 2. And then it just so happened that AMC or something's, showing like 4 through 6. And so 4 was on TV while I was working. So I was watching it and I was like, wait a minute. And I never would have even recognized this because I've only seen 4 a couple of times all the way through. But it's like the same fucking house that the little girl Jamie lives in and her her adopted family. Jamie Lee Curtis, it's almost exactly the same. It's like the porch is on the other side of the house. And I thought, am I seeing that right? Am I remembering that correctly? So when I watched Halloween Ends yesterday and they showed her house, like full on, full length shot, I looked up Halloween 4 house and it is painted exactly the same. It is the same style house, has the same kind of porch. It's on the other side. Instead of being on the left, it's on the right. And I'm like, well, that has to be a nod to Halloween 4. If it's not, boy, what a coincidence.
How unintentional, eh?
I mean, it's kind of fun. I'm sure it was intentional, but why? I mean, again, why are you calling back to, why are you fan servicing things that you're erasing? Yeah. I mean, not that I don't have an issue with that, but it just kind of makes me laugh when they do that. Something else I saw, I think the first day this came out, somebody tweeted, why do I keep talking about the boogeyman? Was that like a big deal in the original? And I'm like, have you seen Halloween?
That's what they
fucking call him.
Yeah.
From the beginning to the end of the movie, he is the boogeyman.
They don't call him Michael Myers. They I guess Loomis calls him Michael.
Yeah.
Michael. But they call him the Shape.
Well, in the credits, he's the Shape.
Well, the Shape, yeah.
The kids and her all call him the boogeyman.
Yeah.
Like repeatedly through the original film. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
No. They're fans of Halloween, okay?
The boogeyman kills babysitters. That's what little turd says that he's babysitting. It gets mentioned. And I'm like, why? That totally tracks with the history of this franchise. He's the boogeyman.
I like that in this movie, they say, okay, so how do we get around the fact that at this point, Michael Myers is like a 70-year-old man? Because he is. That's the question here that nobody ever presented to the audience. And I'm glad that in this movie, they were like, no, we're finally going to show you that like he's just like an old ass man. And I appreciate that because I don't think the last 2 movies did a very good job of like hammering that home. But
not when he kills 50 able-bodied firemen.
Right. Which is why that last movie is just so goofy because it just like he's a 65-year-old guy at the point of those movies. And this he would effectively be 70 years old per the movie's kind of explanation. It's like that's not realistic. And I know that people don't want realism when we're talking about this movies, but like he's not a supernatural character in this timeline. So none of this would make sense. So the fact that it's just like, okay, he's an old man. He's been sitting in the sewers for 4 years, subsisting on rainwater and rats, apparently, which is the more unrealistic part. But the thing that I did appreciate about kind of this whole Michael Myers in the sewer was that they do have the scene where he goes down there to fight him, to take the mask, and it's shot through the hole. I thought that was really clever and smart, but I will say that they fucked up by not having him just kill him, by having Corey Cunningham just kill Michael Myers. Mm-hmm. Because then I think it would further reinforce the idea that Michael Myers was not somebody special. He was not somebody that deserves to be talked about. Because that's the thing that this movie could have done that I feel like is a real world thing that we're kind of dealing with now because of stuff like Dahmer, where it's like, should we be talking about the real versions of these people? And it's like, I mean, again, where you fall on that is going to be personal, up to you. But I think every story deserves to be told. And I think they could have in this movie mentioned this idea of like, why are we focusing? Because they kind of hint at it. It's like, why are we focusing on Michael Myers? Like, why are we giving
him of his power?
Yeah, because get rid of the mystique. There is no mystique. He's just a crazy old man now at this point. And he was a guy that was pushed to murder because he was mentally unwell. Like, there you go. Like, it's nothing scary about that. I mean, it's scary because we live in a country where that's a reality. That's why it's scary, not because of any particular thing. And that I feel like they should have done that in this movie because they verge on it by introducing a kid who becomes Michael because of the way he's treated. Like you could strip Michael Myers of that. And I know that it would have probably made the fans even angrier if he had just killed Michael Myers unceremoniously in the sewer, but it would further reinforce and kind of really hit home this idea that like Michael Myers was not important. The fact that he killed people is the important part, and he took people's lives, not who he was, not his story. That's not important. And I feel like the movie should have done that because that's a kind of discussion that we're having now, I think, because of how prevalent true crime is as a genre now. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a discussion worth having. And I'm honestly kind of surprised that they didn't do it, given that David Gordon Green seems pretty dialed in about stuff, at least topically.
That was another one of the things that I figured either we're not going to have him or, like you say, this kid's going to take him out and take over, and which he essentially does.
They half-assed it.
Yeah, and I think you have to. I mean, just think how pissed off people would have been if that had been the case.
Well, take a stand.
That fucking guy killed Michael Myers. How could that be?
But that's my point. Like, take a stand on something because it feels a little like wishy-washy, half-assed. They kind of had their cake and ate it too, type thing. He took the Michael Myers mask, but the fucking mask doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, like the mask in that universe, theoretically anybody could buy that mask again and run around with it. So
you mentioned the supernatural thing, and that one point when Michael grabs him by the throat and is strangling him, and they kind of go eye to eye,
right?
And then they have these flashback things. I'm like, oh, is this supposed to be some supernatural transference that we're getting here?
Kind of felt
or is it just
like looking into his soul or something?
Or is it just the kid is like recognizing what an awful, horrible life he's had, all these horrible instances, his mom, that kid, the bullies, the this, the that. So I think they want to eat their cake and have it too in the supernatural thing.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Michael Myers should have been killed in Halloween Kills. I mean, he
should have been killed in Halloween when he's in the basement of a building on fire.
Right. As far as what the townspeople did to him, he should be dead. So they're playing both sides here, I think. Still.
Which is lame. Which is really lame because I appreciate a strong decision. Like make that decision. Like make a decision and stick with it. And damn the torpedoes. Really, like fuck it. Like you're the filmmaker. Do not acquiesce. If you want to make a movie this way, make it that way. The fans are going to have to deal because guess what? The fans didn't fucking like it anyways. Like you decided to half-ass it, and in half-assing it, you pissed them off or perturbed them. I mean, they're already mad. If you had Michael just die, like okay, like they're already mad. Who cares?
I mean, there's the supernatural thing goes back to the original because he gets up after being shot 6 times, but
that's a horror movie trope. Even then, that was a horror movie trope.
Like, I don't know. I mean,
nobody needed the time to explain it then, but now we feel the need to explain it now in our hyper realistic society where people are like, would Thanos' snap actually have killed people? It's like, well, fucking who cares? It's in a movie with a space alien who's purple. Like if Thanos is existing and we're able to take his gauntlet, there are bigger questions we should be asking than would the snap do that? It's like the same thing with Michael Myers. If a guy was able to sit up after being shot 6 times and just walk away, there are bigger questions to be asking here than how did he do that? So I don't know. I don't like that they skirt the issue with 2 of these things, that in skirting the issue, people were already mad. Like Michael Myers should have died, but it also should have been a supernatural transference. He loses his powers and the kid kills him, and that's like the full transference of the powers. Like, and you could have the kid survive at the end and then not have Michael kill him. And again, it just completely undercuts the emotional impact of this movie when you have Michael Myers show up and just kill the main character of the movie, because he is the main character of the movie. It's his story.
Oh yeah.
100%. You said it at the top of the podcast.
Which is another thing that people are angry about, and that's fine.
It's got to be the Laurie Strode story. Don't you understand? We've seen it 5 times already. I need to see it a 6th time.
I don't understand the thirst trap posts that I've seen about this kid, but that's just me. Like, that dude was all over Twitter a couple days after this movie came out.
he's a good-looking guy, but like,
but the character is awful.
Not the character who murdered.
So I don't get it. It's like it's that worshiping of the.
It's the Dahmer thing again.
Like, I don't get it because the guy's halfway decent looking, I guess. I mean, whatever, to each their own again. But they're not posting about the actor, though, necessarily. They're posting about the character. Like, oh, I could save Corey, or and I'm like, I get that it's partly in jest, but I'm also going, really?
Even Laurie Strode couldn't save Corey, like that's the whole crux of the movie. And again, like they do that bullshit even with Laurie where she's like, I looked into his eyes. It's like, you looked into his eyes and saw what? Captain Crazy? Because like, again, like Laurie Strode.
Hey,
if you're a friend with Laurie Strode, like you got to think she's nuts too, right? Because you go from a gun-toting mama to all of a sudden just like domestico life, cooking fucking quiche and pie. Like what? Hey, Laurie, do you remember when you had a trap in your basement to kill someone with? Like, do you remember that? Oh, you're living in a house in the city now, like probably blocks from where you watched your friends get murdered. Okay, you seem rather well adjusted now.
I like how she's wearing clothes that young Laurie wore, basically.
Right. I like that Will Patton came back.
Hey, but it's her seeing that in his eyes is no less realistic than how hard and how fast Allison falls for this jackass kid.
Oh my God. Yeah.
She's like ride or die, literally, the instant they meet. And I'm like, did I miss the scene? Because why is she so taken with this dude?
I don't know. Because he's good looking? I don't know.
I guess so.
Everybody likes a bad boy.
He's
Michael
just a sap,
Myers,
though.
The ultimate bad boy. Yeah, that's the thing. His character in the movie is such a like wet rag up until he's not. And I feel like there's a better way in writing that story because his turn doesn't feel as earned. Because again, ostensibly, because we see everything at the beginning of the movie, we know it's an accident. We know that this kid did not have a mean bone in his body to actually kill a child. And then all of a sudden, 30 minutes later, he's bloodthirsty murdering people. And again, I'm not saying that it couldn't happen that way, but this kid was then more mentally unstable than we ever understood him to be if all it took was being bullied by two groups of like dickhead teenagers and then like a dickhead police officer.
And his overbearing mom.
But he had been dealing with that his whole life.
Yeah. Who kisses him flush on the mouth.
Eddie Kaspbrak's mom did it to him and he didn't turn into it. Speaking of it, man, what is that from?
Yeah.
Right? It, Carrie, it's shades of it, it's shades of Carrie. This movie is a melange, speaking of the spice, of so many different better things.
Well, that came up in my head when people say, and I know you've even said this.
I think you have as well.
Don't remind me of a better movie.
I think you've said it as well. It's the truth. Possible. Don't remind me of something better, please, because all I'm going to want to do is go and watch it.
I want to watch Christine now again.
Makes me want to watch it.
Makes me want to watch. Well, I don't know.
Why is it so mean? I wish someone had said that. Why is Michael so mean?
He does say an Arnie Cunningham line, though, kind of. He's like, show me how to do it. And that's what Arnie says to Christine when she's going to repair herself. Show me. He just says, show me, though. That's what Corey should have said. Show me. That would have been.
What did you think of those scenes with him and Michael together? I kind of liked it. It was interesting.
I was surprised, actually, because the doctor and the nurse or whatever, I love that. I love how they were getting ready to get it on or whatever. And she hears that noise and she's like, Dr. Mathis, Dr. Instead of calling the guy by his first name, she's still calling him doctor. Great. The dynamic of their relationship is very apparent. Yeah, I was surprised when he showed up because I thought, okay, this kid's going to go out on his own. And I could have done without the callback to the original in that scene with stabbing her on the wall and doing the doggy head nod. Like, how many fucking times do we have to see that in a Halloween movie? And why are you still surprised, Michael?
Yeah, I have a hard time anymore with like those kind of references in these movies because like it worked once. Like I don't want to see Freddy go, it's prime, welcome to prime time, bitch. I don't want to see that again if they ever make another Nightmare movie. Like it worked one time. I'm your
boyfriend now.
Yeah, they've already done that twice though.
Great. Well, that's what I'm saying. He's done the head turn thing multiple times.
I know, in like half of the movies. At least.
And like I say, why are you still surprised? You're the one doing this, dude. What are you
Michael
surprised
Myers
about?
is just Michael Myers is just not a character in these movies, and it's a shame because they had an opportunity to really make Michael a character in these 3 movies, like a character with a story, because they made such a big deal about giving Laurie Strode a story, like whatever. Like again, I'm not saying I don't care about Laurie Strode's story, but in a lot of ways they made me not care about her story because of the way that they told it, because the version that they went with was, even there, we're going to have our cake and eat it too. She's going to be the gun-toting mama in one movie and then Miss Domestic in the other one. Because the second movie doesn't count at this point. She did nothing. She was in a hospital bed saying evil dies tonight over and over again. Even then, they couldn't decide, do we want Laurie to be over the trauma or hyper-focused on the trauma?
Yeah.
Because one of those is healthy and one of those is not. Can you imagine which is which? The one that doesn't involve shooting mannequins in your backyard is my guess.
And I could have done with more Will Patton in this, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah. He's great.
That shouldn't have just been a bookend, I think. It would have been nice to have him pop up at the house, really pursuing her.
Yeah.
And be involved in this somehow. That kind of would have been nice.
Well, I mean, again, the way that they tell the story with Laurie's story, this is not a Laurie Strode story. This is, she's a supporting character in this story. He's like even lower down. So the fact that he even shows up, twice is surprising. But yeah,
it's just so fun.
I like Will Patton a lot.
Me too. Who doesn't like Will Patton with his fucking messed up hair?
I know. I always think of the Will Patton I think of as Will Patton from The Punisher, where he plays John Travolta's gay bodyguard.
I think the first time I saw him was in No Way Out. And it's like, that guy talks weird.
Yeah. Yes, his line delivery is, it's Will Patton when he's talking.
Yeah. He doesn't do it so much anymore like that. I don't know how to even
It's a southern thing. He's from South Carolina.
He does it a lot in Minari. He talks very similarly, but you don't get it so much in the Halloween films. But anyway, I love him. So
yeah, he's great. And talk about another character completely underserved. Laurie's granddaughter.
Well, she was in this quite
Allison, but like she doesn't do anything. She hasn't done anything in anything since the first one.
She was in this way more than I expected. I mean, it makes sense because Laurie pushes them together and there's this relationship going on. I kind of liked seeing her in this actually, and that I was happy it wasn't Laurie and Michael. So I'm fine with
Allison. I just wish they had done more with her as a character. Because again, she serves as less of a character in this movie and more of an idea to play with is what it feels like. She's in the center of the tug of war between Laurie and Corey, but feels like she has no autonomy of her own other than whoever's pulling her the hardest in their direction, which seems to be Corey throughout the entire movie. And I honestly, I've not seen him in anything else. I know he's on the Hardy Boys TV show on Hulu, but Rowan Campbell is really good in this movie.
There's a Hardy Boys TV show on Hulu?
Yeah. And he plays the older Hardy Boy. Oh, go figure, right?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, see, so you learn something new every day. Now you're going to have to go on the warpath and watch it. I'm sure it's good.
Yeah, it might be. I mean,
he was good in this movie. The character that he plays is good. I feel like there's some missteps with the writing because again, you're writing a character that's based off of a lot of real people and you can look at their motivations and look at what the things that they've said and use that to inform this character. And I just feel like this character verges on that, but it never gets into the more emotionally interesting stuff. And you know why that is? Because it's a fucking Halloween movie. That's why. Again, this would be a much better movie if it weren't a Halloween movie. If there wasn't this whole Michael Myers thing tacked on to the end, which we've barely even talked about. But talk about the most bizarre part of the movie tonally. Like, how is what is happening? But also, how is what's happening on screen okay by anybody's approximation? Like that whole scene in processional is just odd. It feels like it's for the audience in the movie, not for the characters that are actually on screen. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they
nail them to the car, and then they're playing the music, and you see all these characters that have literally done nothing throughout all the other movies, and then they linger on the shot of him being thrown into the shredder to make sure we as an audience understand that Michael Myers is fucking dead. Like that's all for. It felt like you've kind of said. It feels like it's for us, not for the narrative.
Yeah, it's neither here nor there for me. I am happy that it's unambiguous.
Yeah.
He's ground beef now. However, going back to Christine, which I don't think you've seen, right?
I have not.
So,
aha!
Christine gets in a wrecking yard, gets cubed. So that's the end of Christine. That's the end of Christine, right? Or is
right?
it? Or is
right?
it? I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's very possible that they cube up Michael Myers, and then you're going to hear "Bad to the Bone" at the end or at the beginning of the next movie.
I thought you were going to say that a dog pees on his pieces and they come back together, Freddy Krueger style. Rennie Harlan. I love his explanation in Never Sleep Again. So it's just like, let's have a dog pee on it. It's just like, yeah. At this point, as good of an explanation as any.
Stranger things have happened.
I think that, like, if you're a fan of Michael Myers, you're obviously very disappointed. But at the same time, at this point, if you're a fan of Michael Myers, you have to be happy that he's dead, because they're not going to, there's no opportunity to fuck this up anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Except the rights revert back to the original producers and whatever they do with it. Who knows what'll I'm kind of curious now.
But having Michael Myers pinned to a table and then Laurie Strode cutting his neck and his wrists is just, the optics of that are strange and weird. Yeah. And it's for me, I get what they're getting at, and, confronting of trauma and letting trauma go and all that. But your main character in your movie is slicing the throat of another one. And again, I get it. He was trying to murder them, blah, blah, blah. It's just strange optics for the character that's ostensibly your hero now, because the other hero is dead.
Yeah.
Unceremoniously.
Yeah. I kind of, both times I watched this, sort of tuned out at the end and just kept my fingers crossed it will be unambiguous as to his outcome, but it's the least interesting part of the movie for me.
I'm glad it's unambiguous. I really am.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can take away from it, really. Okay, thank God.
Right. Like in Freddy's Dead. We haven't had Freddy back since. Freddy has stayed dead. There you go. In Freddy versus Jason, they kind of did the half-ass shit in that movie. But even then, they didn't pick a side. In this movie, I'm glad that it's no, he's dead. That's it. The end. It ended in a very un-Halloween, un-horror movie way. I will say I appreciate the fact that there seems to be a callback to one of my favorite movies. I don't think it's intentional, but there's only one other horror movie I can think of that ends with Blue Oyster Cult's Don't Fear the Reaper, and that would be Peter Jackson's The Frighteners. Mm. But when they played that at the end, I started laughing just so loud, because it works. And
it's in the first, it's in the first movie when they're smoking pot in the car, driving around, So.
But just what the song also evokes, I think, really works. And I like that final scene where they're just showing the house. And it's again, no, it's over.
The empty rooms and no breathing, except for maybe one little breath at the end when they show his mask. But
really?
I haven't heard it, but that's what I read. I looked up Easter eggs yesterday, and one of the articles I read said, the showing of the rooms where things happen is a callback to the first one, and they've done it, I believe, in other ones as well. But it's silent until the last shot, when you see Michael's mask on her desk. I didn't hear it either time, so I don't know. But, speaking of callbacks.
No more, please.
I mean, the whole sewer thing is even a callback to 5, I think, because that's how he gets revived in that one. Yeah. He lives down there with a bum in it's not really a sewer, but it's sort of like the dairy thing again, where under the bridges, where he recuperates in that one. I'm sure there's tons of others. I haven't seen most of the sequels more than once, and that was a while ago.
Well, they're not great, I think, collectively, for the most part.
I don't
at least 5 and 6
for them,
for sure.
And they all have their fans. And again, there are being a Twitter person, seeing everybody's rankings. Some people have Rob Zombie's movies at the top. Some people have 3 as their favorite. I'm not going to go as far as, but 3 is my favorite. I still like 1 the most, I think, as far as a Halloween film goes. But a lot of people had this in their top 3. a lot of people, it was the last in their rankings. So I would put it pretty close to the top, probably top 5 Halloween films.
Yeah, I think for me, because I do this with Nightmare on Elm Street, my kind of these slasher movies, the one that I gravitate towards. For me, it's 1, 3, and New Nightmare.
Mm-hmm,
and like those 3 make logical sense. You have the 2 stories and then the kind of subsequent real life implications in regards to the stories. That's the trilogy for those movies for me. Halloween now is going to be this, Halloween 2018, and the original, going backwards. And if you're going forwards, Halloween ends. And I think that that's good enough for me at this point. They tell a coherent enough story. Somebody will do a fan edit where they will make even more sense, because there will be people that are angry about the parts of this movie that they don't like. But I think that this movie is going to age rather well in a lot of ways. And I think 10 years from now, when we're finally past the nostalgia for slasher movies from the 80s, which I think will happen eventually, I think that we will stop having nostalgia for them at some point, or at least it will be diminished more so than it is now, probably in the next, like I said, 10, 15 years. I think by that point, we'll have had more reappraisals of things, because killer clowns are now a big thing. They're bigger now than they were when they came out, for fuck's sake. Texas Chainsaw is bigger than it was when it came out in a lot of ways now too. I mean, there's a video game coming out. Killer Clowns has been featured at Universal Studios 2 or 3 years in a row. It has a video game coming out that's going to revitalize interest in that franchise. They're working on a TV show. It's time now to let other movies that need to be reappraised, and new horror movies, these old movies need to get out of the way and make room for new slasher characters, for new kinds of these kinds of movies. Halloween's time has come and passed. And I think it's past now. I think this movie does a good enough job at showing what they can do if they want to do something different with Halloween without having to kowtow to Michael Myers. Obviously, this movie ends up kowtowing to Michael Myers, but it didn't need to. And it would have still have been pretty entertaining if the specter of Michael Myers had hung large over the film, but he hadn't even been in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I would have really liked that, actually. And if they go back to the anthology idea, man, I'd be more than happy to see new stories completely disconnected from the Michael Myers story that take place around Halloween.
Right. If you like Michael Myers, cool. I get it. But Halloween is not a Michael Myers story. It never has been. It never was. They made it that in subsequent films, but that's never what it was about. And if that's what the fans want, that's one thing. But what the fans want and the intent of the filmmakers or the content creators, the people who are making these movies or TV shows or whatever comes next, what they're doing is what they want to do. And however you react to it is going to be on you, frankly. And that's the way a lot of content creators feel is, I'm making this for me. This is the movie I always wanted to make. There are going to be people that like it, and there are going to be people that don't like it. And I hope it resonates with the people that like it, and the people that don't like it, we're never going to like it anyways. And I think that we see a little bit of that here with Halloween Ends. Not enough by my approximation. I think it could have used more strong choices, and we've already talked about that. But I hope that whoever makes the next Halloween movie, because undoubtedly there will be one, I hope that whoever makes it, like you said, does something vastly different to the point of no Michael Myers. Or if you have Michael Myers, just have him be, the specter of him. Because you know what you could have done in this movie? You could have had him find the skeleton of Michael Myers in the sewer with the mask, with the overalls. And there's the supernatural thing there. Say he, does something with the bones or does something, or just don't even have that. Just have him go, oh, look, Michael Myers is mask. And he puts on the mask, and in putting on the mask, you know what I mean? Like, you can still have the bullshit half-ass supernatural stuff without having to have Michael Myers there.
Yeah.
And in Laurie killing Michael or killing Corey, she's ridding herself of both him and the specter of Michael Myers as well.
Yeah.
What a better story that would have been. What a more interesting story that would have been. But what an angrier audience you would have gotten out of it.
No, I I really think it boils down to we can't do that. People will fucking flip.
Because it's a fucking Halloween movie.
What the hell is the carved face in his little cave? I still don't get that. And it's not even really carved. It's just like the cop sees that image of a face in the wall down there. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Is this like the druid shit? Or are they going back to is that a nod to the Cult of Thorn?
That's what it feels. That's what it feels like.
Because I don't know enough about the Cult of Thorn stuff. Again, I probably only watched 5 and 6 once in my life each. And I know that those are what, the Cult of Thorn stuff is in.
He has to be supernatural in this series. Does he not? He's in the sewers for 4 years and he doesn't have anything to eat or drink. How did he survive? He's supernatural.
He probably robs that bum. He probably steals from that bum. He's taking people. The bum says he's taking people. So
what's he doing with them?
Eating them.
What was that part of it? Now we're verging really. Now
I'm
he is just
speculating
Pennywise.
on a hypothesis here.
No, I get it. No, I remember the bum is like, oh, people keep missing, but like, to what end? Was he eating people? Like, I get fuck. Okay, holy shit. What is this story then? Like, this feels like those Star Wars movies where all of a sudden they're just like changing the rules. Like, oh no, you can like ram a spaceship through another spaceship, and oh yeah, you can survive out in space if you're a Force user. Like, well, or you can resurrect people from the dead with the Force. Like, wait, what? Like, where is all this coming from? That's what this feels like in this movie. It's like you're showing us things and you're not explaining it, and we're just being left to like ask questions.
I mean, he wasn't that far away from town under that bridge, so could crawl out and dumpster dive, and who knows? I
guess they didn't know what he looked like underneath the mask, right?
I think he and that bum sat under there and cooked up rats and chatted about the old days.
I'd watch that movie. Just Michael Myers just sitting with his mask, roasting a rat.
Like Frankenstein and friend.
God. So Mr. Begley, final thoughts on Halloween Ends.
I was pleasantly surprised by the left turns it made. Watching it yesterday for the second time, I wasn't as engrossed in it, so I don't think I'll be returning to it all that often, but I may get the itch every once in a while to check it out. This actually wouldn't be, of these 3 in this David Gordon Green trilogy, would probably be the one that I showed my kid.
You would or wouldn't?
Would. It's not, because it's, we didn't talk about the band kids, because I think those are the interesting kills in this. We mentioned that there are some interesting kills.
I like how we've come full circle that now band kids can be mean.
Yeah.
Theater kids are mean. Okay.
I kind of actually, again, I thought
it's funny.
I thought that was kind of funny.
I knew theater kids like that. So I was
they're
like,
not the jocks.
No.
They're band kids, but they're assholes. And that fucking kid with his weird bleached eyebrows. But that torch thing to the mouth was fucking gnarly. I like that they didn't show it like full on. That the girl under the fence. I mean, okay, those are pretty rough and interesting. If you're looking for interesting kills. But yeah, I don't know that I'll be going back to it all that often. But of this trilogy, it's definitely my favorite, and I don't think it's as ridiculous as the first 2, and so I'd probably show this one to my kid. I guess I'd have to show her the other ones. I don't know. I gotta go straight from the first one.
I feel like you could show her this one and the first one.
Yeah. Not that I'm going to be rushing to do that anytime soon, because I remember after watching those, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think I'm going to show these to her.
Don't show her Halloween Kills, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I think for me, this is the best of these 3. Halloween Kills is the worst of these 3. Mm-hmm. Halloween is the Force Awakens of these 3, which is to say it is the most generic of the 3. It's Halloween again. Like,
yeah, it's Halloween.
The title does not at all tell you what that movie's going to be or anything. It's exactly as advertised. And then the second movie is like a Rob Zombie, mashup. With what Rob Zombie was doing, with what David Gordon Green can, I guess, do if he dials the violence up. But I liked this movie a lot more than I think a lot of other horror fans did. Clearly, from the way this movie is being talked about, I don't have this like overwhelming physical reaction to vomit when someone brings it up because they ruined my childhood of loving Michael Myers. Like, guys,
Yeah,
He's a character in a movie. It is what it is. Move on. Go. You want to be obsessed with a character who kills people in creative ways. Go jerk off about Art the Clown until you're blue in the face. Like there are things that satisfy that if that's what you are looking for. And to be upset that these movies don't check those boxes for you is a you problem, not a movie problem. Because there are plenty of those kinds of movies for you to watch. And just because Halloween Kills was that way doesn't mean Halloween Ends was going to be that way, clearly. And I'm glad that it didn't follow the same tone of Halloween Kills. It's very much a different movie.
Absolutely. Me too.
Yeah. And again, I'm also glad that this ostensibly is the end of this story and Laurie Strode gets to go off and have a happy ending, which is rare in these kinds of movies.
Go see the cherry blossoms.
Go to Japan.
And run into the Japanese version of Michael Myers.
Yeah,
that's what they're doing next.
Sadako from fucking The Ring.
Ooh, that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
that'd be a whole
or the kid
different...
from The Grudge.
Have to deal with those kind of ghosts or supernatural things over there.
Yeah.
She wouldn't even know what to do.
No, she wouldn't. So
wouldn't that be funny?
Yeah, I would. I mean, that's what I would do if it's me. Like, don't give Laurie Strode the happy ending. Just make her go deal with somebody that's not Michael for once. Wouldn't that be something?
Her and what's
Will Patton? Oh, yeah, but Frank Hawkins.
So I have her and Hawkins on their honeymoon in Japan, seeing the cherry blossoms, and then they fucking have to deal with The Grudge.
Wouldn't that be something? Wouldn't that be like that? Has anybody done that yet? Where they take a character like a final girl and put her in another kind of horror movie?
Hey, David, I know you don't own the right. You know, you're not making any more of these, so I guess the Akkad family, give us a call. You know, we can flesh this idea out.
Right? No, you know what David Gordon Green is working on?
Yes, I do. The Exorcist.
I hope it's good.
He's got Ellen Burstyn. I don't know.
He had Jamie Lee Curtis through 3 of these, bro. I'm sure it's going to be Exorcist 1, 2, and 3. I'm sure it's not just, or Exorcist 2 and 3, because he's probably going to make a third one as well. Because technically I guess there are other Exorcist movies to write out of existence. I guess.
Well, you don't, because part 3 is like a side.
Yeah.
You know, it's the true
sequel. Like what we're talking about doing with the Laurie Strode character.
It's the true sequel to the first one because that was the book sequel to the original Exorcist. But it doesn't have anything to do with Reagan or her mom. It's all Kinderman and the priests and blah, blah, blah. So that can exist still. No one's going to lay claim to Exorcist 2. Most likely.
Nope.
But you don't really have to deal with any of that.
I mean, it's like what we're talking about with the Laurie Strode character, just taking one of the characters and doing something else with them. Like he's dealing with Exorcist 1 adjacent stuff unbeknownst to him. You know, at the end of the movie, he kind of finds that out. But like they could do something like that. I think it'd be interesting. Like, don't stop the Laurie Strode story here just because Michael's gone. Like,
yeah, take her to Japan.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That would be great. Oh man. So until the next time we talk about probably more than likely a horror movie, where can people find you, Mr. Begley?
You can find me at wakeupheavy.com, on all social media at wakeupheavy. You can find the show wherever you listen to podcasts. Wake Up Heavy is a part of the Weirding Way Media Network, along with Chris's shows and Mike White's shows and some other shows. And currently have the 2 Mickey Rourke episodes available. Probably won't be doing a whole lot in November because of the new venture that we will be undertaking here shortly. And that's it. Check it out, babies.
As for me, like Mark mentioned, weirdingwaymedia.com. That's the place where you can find me and all the things that I work on and the things that I work on with Mark and all of our other pals. As for this show, Kulturecast.com, patreon.com/Kulturecast, all those good things that you can do to get involved with the show monetarily. But if you want to just do the non-monetary thing, which is totally fine as well, just go ahead and give the show a listen over at iTunes or wherever you can find the show. Mark, thank you so much for joining me. It was a blast. I knew we were going to have a good time talking about this movie, and we did.
Yeah, too bad for those other chumps.
Chumpatize them. And we'll catch you on the next episode.